Hi, my name's Leo, and you probably best know me for making videos on game consoles. But although I make a lot of gaming content, I don't currently own a Windows gaming PC. I edit all my videos on a MacBook, but the other day I decided I want to get into the world of PC gaming. And I do know in the last few years, PC gaming has got really expensive. The price of GPUs is going up. So the normal thing to do would be to either build your own PC or buy a pre-built. But the other day I decided to look on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the?
So I had a little browse on Facebook Marketplace to see the computers in my local area. So I came across this computer advertised for £425. It says it comes with an RTX 3060 Ti, Ryzen 5 5500, 16 gigabytes of RAM, a terabyte of storage, pretty standard. And it was only about half an hour away from where I live. These are the pictures from the listing. So at this point I was like, yeah, this is probably the PC I'm going to try and go for. So I dropped the seller a message and they were like, yeah, it's still available. So I jumped in my car, drove over to where they were selling it, and then picked it up. And here we are now. I have now picked up this gaming PC. So in this video, we're going to check it out, test it on a couple of games and see whether or not I actually got a good deal. I ended up actually paying £400 for it. I knocked £25 off with my epic bargaining skills. So yeah, £400. And we're going to have a look through it, and you've got to let me know in the comment section whether or not I got a good deal, because it's actually been about 10 years since I was into the whole gaming PC side of things. So yeah, about 13 years ago I built my first PC. It had a GTX 660 Ti and an i5 3570K. So if you remember those specs, drop us a like and consider subscribing. So it's going to be nice to try and get back into PC gaming. So I know these aren't the highest end or the newest specs, but it's sort of an entry point to actually see if I want to use a gaming PC. So the first thing I'm noticing is we have a mouse. Who's this? Made by Game Max. Pretty standard, quite cheap feeling gaming mouse. And here we've got a keyboard. See if this is actually any good. I mean, it looks like a gaming keyboard, but it feels like a membrane keyboard. What do we have here? This is a DisplayPort connector, and then what is this? A TP-Link. I assume this doesn't have a Wi-Fi card, so they bought one of these USB Wi-Fi adapters. Cool, we'll be testing this out as well. And finally we have the power connector, which is actually stuck underneath the box. So let's have a look at the box, because I think this is the original box. Lie, feel the difference. Made in China. NX Power. I think that's the brand that actually made this PC. It does have this packaging, which is good to see. Right, let's get this PC out of the box. There's not a whole lot of packaging inside here actually. Should be able just to pull it out. There we go. The Facebook Marketplace gaming PC. So there we go, I've put it on the table and we're going to have a look around, see what sort of condition it's in, and we're going to check out the components inside. So it says Lie on the front, and I think that's the NX Power pre-built PC logo, and then two very large fans on the front, which is good to see. At the top of the PC we have this mesh, which I think is magnetic, yeah, to keep some of the dust away. We've got the power button, restart button, LED on and off button to USB ports, and a headphone jack. Yeah, the back of it looks pretty standard. And then the graphics card, which has got HDMI and 3 display ports. It's got some sort of other media card. Yeah, let me know in the comments section below what this actually is. Is this like a sound card? And then the PSU at the bottom. Right, let's take this side panel off. Let's see what this is actually made of. Feels like tempered glass, if I'm being honest. Which is good, because I know some of the cheaper cases just use plastic. There we go. So we've got the AMD, I think this is the stock cooler. But from what I've heard, these are absolutely fine as long as you're not overclocking. Two 8GB sticks of Corsair. I assume this is DDR4 RAM. If anyone knows what motherboard this is, just by looking at it, let me know in the comment section below. I'm actually interested. And then here is the RTX 3060 Ti. And then in terms of storage, we've got this MSI SSD 1TB M.2 drive. So there we go, that is the inside of this £400 Facebook Marketplace gaming PC that I've just picked up. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug it all in, hook it up to a monitor and test out some games to see what the performance is actually like and whether or not it feels any better than just playing on an Xbox or a PlayStation 5. So I've hooked this computer up to this monitor and good news, it's working. I've even installed a couple of games that we're going to test out. So the mouse and keyboard both working, which is good news. The Wi-Fi card is actually surprisingly good. So my Wi-Fi usually does 300 megabits per second, which this is able to achieve, which is good news. All the fans are working. It's not making any funny noises. So good news so far. So it's now time to test out the performance of this monitor and see how well it actually performs. So here we have Silent Hill 2 running, I think this is medium settings with DLSS on balanced. And in my opinion, this looks better than the PlayStation 5 version. The main thing is the reflections. If you have a look at the reflections, they're sharp and you can actually see real reflections in the puddles, which on the PS5 version, they just look like glitchy mess. So yeah, this is definitely more than playable. And this is a 1440p monitor, by the way. So the town area is definitely the most intensive, but we're still hanging around the 80s, which is really good. There is a few sort of stutters here and there. See, we dropped down to 40, 46. So I'll just show you what settings we're running. So 1440p HDR on. So I've got ray tracing off, DLSS on balanced, and then if we go on to advanced settings, pretty much everything on medium. Yeah, the medium preset. We try high. See how well this runs. So I think the main issue are the stutters, which are present on pretty much every UE5 game, especially when you're sort of moving around the map. But yeah, that's pretty impressive. On high settings, 1440p DLSS on balanced, we're still getting in the outside area over 60 FPS. This is more than playable. So similar to Silent Hill, this game suffers from a lot of stutter, but the average frame rate isn't terrible. I mean, we're getting around 60 with a couple of drops here and there, and this is playable, and the graphics look okay. This is one game though that I do think the console version looks a bit better and runs a bit better. Have a look at the settings. So this game is really hard to run. So we're at 1440p. Let's get rid of that frame limit. What settings are we on? Custom, basically low with a few settings on medium. So shadows on medium and texture on medium. Everything else is on low with DLSS on balanced. So yeah, that's what settings we're rocking. But at the moment it is playable on low settings, and it doesn't look terrible, but I do think the console version is slightly better at this point in time than this PC. So we're now testing out CSGO 2. The FPS is now in this corner, so we're getting around about 140 FPS. This is on high settings. I'll just show you my settings. Yeah, like very high. So I think this is pretty much maxed out. So to me that's very playable, but I know if you're playing competitively you're going to want to drop the resolution, drop the settings, and you'll probably get way higher FPS. I'm also terrible at this game. So now we're going to test out Stalker 2. We're playing on medium settings. This game is really intensive. DLSS on balance, 1440p. And we're getting low 40s with a lot of stuttering. This is another UE5 game, but this is probably the worst performing. I think probably because there's so much like foliage and lighting, and it's a really big map as well. So yeah, I probably have to drop the settings a bit more if I wanted to have an enjoyable experience on this game. So even on low settings we're still getting around 40 frames per second. Yeah, this game's just really hard to run, and there's constant stuttering, so I'd probably say this isn't really that playable. So the final game we're going to test out is this survival game called Grounded, which I've been playing. This actually performs really well. We're getting FPS in the 90s, and I'm pretty sure we're on like high settings. 1440p, yeah, epic quality, which is like the highest preset. Oh, this game only supports FSR, but we have FSR off because we don't even need it. So yeah, max settings at 1440p with no upscaling, and we're getting usually around 90 FPS, which is for me more than playable. I mean, this isn't like an esports title, so this is really good. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with my new gaming PC that I picked up for only £400 on Facebook Marketplace. It seems to be in pretty good condition, and most games it seems to be able to run pretty well. So yeah, let me know in the comments section below whether or not you think I got a good deal or I got ripped off. And if you have enjoyed, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. And I'll see everyone in my next video.